hello and welcome to Trial TV Live. I am the Squeegee of Justice. Thank you so much for joining us as we are going to pick up on the sentencing of Lawrence Dority, which happened a few days ago. We did not cover it live, but we are covering it now. So thank you for joining us. I'm going to bounce over here and we're going to do a quick recap over here. So Lawrence Dority, this happened May 9th of 2022. His charge was second degree. Adreian Payne, who you see on the bottom right there, he played for Michigan State University. He also played for Orlando professionally. He also formed this really, really close friendship with a cancer patient, Lacey Holsworth, which we showed. It was one of the more moving moments of my career here on YouTube. It really, if you guys were with us during that, it was very moving. He dedicated this. I think going to the championship, they won the Big Ten tournament, and he dedicated it to her, and it was very moving. And unfortunately, I think she passed away. So very sad moment. So on the morning of May 9th, Adreian Payne, he was shot and deleted outside the Orlando home of Lawrence Dority. According to the police and witness reports, Payne had been called by a woman believed to be Dority's girlfriend or close associate to help mediate a domestic dispute. Those two women were friends, and Payne came with his girlfriend to try and calm the situation. Now, they testified. If you remember, let me go to her. Let me go to the actual. I can get the testimony here. Trial notes. All right. Tara Walker was the girlfriend. She's best friends with Lawrence's girlfriend, Tatiana. So these two gentlemen right here, their girlfriends knew each other. And then Adrian's girlfriend, Tara, knew Lawrence, right? So she's known him for like 15 years. Well, 18 years now. So she knew him from back. She knew him for a long time, right? She knew him for a long, long time. So she got on the stand and she testified. So Dority told detectives he arrived at the complex with his father and young son and found Payne waiting for him outside. Now remember, it was Mother's Day, I believe. I think it was Mother's Day. It's either Mother's or Father's Day. Which one was it? It was Mother's Day. So Lawrence was at his dad's house. His dad's name was Larry, so there's Lawrence and Larry, two Larrys. So they were at his dad's house celebrating Mother's Day. He's had a little bit too much to drink, so he asked Dad to drive him back. So he claims Payne threatened to smoke him, which led Dority to go back inside, retrieve a gun, and then return back outside. Dority said he fired when he saw Payne reach towards his waistband, believing he was in danger. Mr. Payne there was struck by gunfire, rushed to the hospital, and later pronounced dead from his injuries. Dority was arrested at the scene and claimed self-defense. So that's kind of where we stand with that. If you guys, I don't know did you guys watch the trial with us? I don't know if you guys, it was so quick. It was like 2 days, and Lawrence did take the stand in his own defense. Let me see what you guys are saying here. You guys are talking about insect sprays. Let's see here. Crazy Mary Jo, jury got this one right. Yeah, Grampy. Yep, Michigan State, MSU. I played some. You know what? Let's set the stage here. Did I? All right, let's set the stage real quick. Lawrence Dority. I'm sorry, Adreian. If you guys missed the trial, let's go to Adreian. Hold on a sec. We're going to play a little something for him. He was a really, really great guy, as I found out watching. Adreian Payne. Oh, come on, hold on. let me go to, definitely not ESPN. All right, here. This is just to give you a little bit of a backstory on him in case you guys missed his trial. All right, let's check this out. Hold on a sec. All right, hold on. All right, here's a little backstory.
Well, hug your loved ones just a little bit tighter tonight because we never know what we're going to be saying our last goodbye. The Michigan State basketball community knows that all too well tonight as the Spartans are mourning the loss of former MSU forward Adreian Payne, who was killed this morning in a shooting in Orlando. He was only 31 years old. During his playing days at MSU from 2010 to 2014, Payne was a dominant force to be reckoned with in East Lansing, and in his senior year, he averaged 16 points and 7 rebounds a game. He was an all Big Ten second-team selection and then scored 41 points, which is the most NCAA tournament points by a Spartan in program history. Tom Izzo attended the introductory press conference of MSU hockey's new head coach, Adam Nightingale. Izzo did not take the podium or meet with the media, but he did release this statement shortly after, saying, quote, "I am in shock at the tragic news of Adreian Payne's death. Our prayers are with his family, teammates, and loved ones," end quote. Izzo went on to say that today is a difficult and sad day for the Spartan basketball family, and he's heard from several former players who praised Payne's ability to work with Spartan players even after graduating from MSU. Some of those former players like Miles Bridges and teammates of Payne's like Gary Harris and Denzel Valentine shared on Twitter their condolences after hearing the news. Magic Johnson even shared that he and his wife Cookie are heartbroken. Then Draymond Green, who played with Payne for 2 years at MSU, shared a tweet with broken hearts. Draymond's head coach Steve Kerr started his afternoon press conference with some words on the passing of Adreian Payne.
I want to offer condolences to Adreian Payne and his family, Michigan State family, Tom Izzo. We heard the news this morning, and Draymond is just crushed. Adreian and Draymond were teammates and best of friends, and just devastating news today. So our condolences to the family, and we're thinking about them today, just feeling a lot of grief with everybody involved. And Draymond especially is feeling that way. And so wanted to share that before we start.
All right, so there's that. But this is what got me. Let me find this. This is what got me the last time. See if I can find it without getting into trouble.
A remarkable relationship we want to.
All right, I don't want to play that. That's from a large. We may get in trouble for that. So he befriended this poor little, well, not to say poor, sorry. He befriended this young little girl that had cancer. Let me see if I can find it. I may not be able to play this because I can't find it on just a just straight up news report. All right, I may not be able to play it. All right, here. All right. All right, here we go. I think I can play this. All right, let's try this one.
A former Michigan State basketball star, known not only for his skills on the court, but for his impact in the community, has passed away. It's our top story at noon. I'm Kiera Lake. MSU has not yet confirmed the information, but the Detroit Free Press is reporting that Adreian Payne has died at the age of 31. Luke Snyder is here for you now with what we know so far.
Hi, Kiera. Many of the details are still coming in, and we just learned the cause of death was the 31-year-old died in Florida. And we also know about his impact here in mid-Michigan. Payne played for the Spartans for 4 years. As a junior, he was named second team Big Ten, but it was his unique friendship with 8-year-old cancer patient Lacey Holsworth, also known as Princess Lacey, that gained national media attention. Their friendship started after she fell in love with his dunking ability, a bond that moved off the court. Payne would frequently pay visits to Lacey after she passed away from cancer in 2014, and Payne would also help keep her name alive through helping with the Princess Legacy Foundation. He would also go on to play in the NBA and overseas. And just moments ago, as we said, the Orange County Sheriff's Office in Orlando confirmed the details that Payne was shot and killed around 1:30 this morning. We'll have more coming up tonight on his life and impact here in the community. We'll also continue to keep you updated online at WLNS.com. Kiera?
All right, so just an all-around good guy, you know. All right, so let's get to the sentencing.
And Your Honor, I just want to put it on the record that she's scheduled to do inpatient treatment for about 4 months, beginning 9/5 at Aspire. I'm sorry, 9/8 at Aspire.
Okay.
And she's to speak with mental health court for screening on 9/5.
Okay. Well, then she's probably going to need to see Dr. Duras before then. Okay.
We're doing the best we can.
No, I understand. And then we'll address it back on September 9th or 29th, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor. That's all I have, Matt. Stand down.
Yep. All right, you can go ahead.
Calling case number 2022 CF 5258, Arizona, Florida versus Lawrence Dority State.
Michael Smith for the state.
Defense.
Dion Thompson on behalf of Mr. Dority.
All right, I'll note Mr. Doherty is present as well. We're set for sentencing today. Any legal reason why we can't proceed?
Your Honor, the state has 2 witnesses that would like to speak for the court.
I understand, but is there any legal reason why we
Your
can't?
Honor.
Okay. All right. And this was a jury verdict. Jury did come back with a guilty verdict as charged for second-degree murder with the possession, discharge, and death resulting from the use of a firearm. Pre-sentence investigation was ordered. The court has reviewed the pre-sentence investigation, and the court has reviewed a sentencing memorandum that was filed by defense counsel, I think, a day or 2 ago. So with that said, we'll go ahead and start with Mr. Thompson.
Yes, Your Honor, I do have,
Presentation that you want to present on behalf of your client?
yes, Your Honor, I do have some witnesses I would like to call. Is it, please the court, may I call Ms. Tatiana Mensah?
Okay.
Raise your right hand. Please solemnly swear. Innocently shocked. You shall be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
All right, have a seat for me, ma'am. And go ahead and state your full name and spell your first and last name for me.
My full name is Tatiana Mensah. My first name, you said spell?
Yep.
Tatiana. Last name Mensah, Mesa.
Okay.
Thank you. Good morning, Ms. Mensah.
Good morning.
What is your relationship to Mr. Dority?
Lawrence is my fiance.
You obviously know why you're here today for sentencing. Is this something you would like the court to know?
Yes.
You can proceed.
I wrote something. Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Your Honor, Lawrence is not just a defendant in this courtroom. He is the head of our household. He's the provider for our family. He's a man who leads our home with love and guidance. He's the father that every child deserves. His children need him, not just to survive, but to grow up knowing what it means to be loved, to be guided, and to be protected. Without him, they risk growing up searching for guidance in places that may not always be good. And no sentence to take away their right to a father who gives his last for them, who puts love above everything, and even turns cooking into a moment of joy so that his children know that fun and love live in the heart of our home. Lawrence's character goes beyond our family. Even our home is open. He's provided meals, shelter for anyone. Our home is just open to anyone. Lawrence has never turned anyone away. He's always stopped what he's doing to be there for others. Your Honor, I also want to acknowledge the family who has suffered in the loss of the situation. My heart goes out to them. I can't imagine the pain and I have deep remorse while we're all here today under these circumstances. I say this with respect. Nothing I share is to dismiss the grief, but only to show you the man that Lawrence truly is. Your Honor, I ask you to see Lawrence the way we see him, as a man with a future worth saving and not erasing. To give him more than the minimum would not just punish him, but it would punish his children, his family, and many people who rely on his goodness. For their sake and the sake of the community that sees him as a leader, I just would like to respectfully ask for your mercy. Thank you.
Okay. Any questions, Mr. Smith?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Thompson?
Yes, Your Honor. The next witness I would like to call is Ms. Demetria Dority.
Okay.
Raise your right hand. You solemnly swear affirm testimony shall be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
All right, ma'am, go ahead and state your full name and spell your first and last name for me.
Demetria Dority, Dimitria Dority.
Mr. Thompson?
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, Ms. Dority. What is your relationship to Mr. Lawrence Dority?
He's my son.
Is it something you would like the court to know prior to sentencing? It's your opportunity to let the court know.
I just want to say that I know my child, I raised him, and I know he would never do anything out of maliciousness. I know his heart. I know that he loves hard, and in order for Lawrence I know he feared, and that's the only reason. He was in fear of his life, and I know that for a fact, because I know he would not hurt anyone. I know that deep in my heart. He loves his family. He loves his friends. All of his friends showed up for him today. He is a good person, and it's a tragic situation. I feel really bad for the family that this happened to. And I feel bad for our family. It's a bad situation all the way around. I could not imagine this would be happening in any of our lives. All of these families were close. And it's just tragic. And I just ask for mercy. Just mercy for Lawrence. I'm heartbroken. Everyone's heartbroken. Just, that's all I have.
Any questions, Mr. Smith?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you, ma'am.
Your Honor, Mr. Adreian Dority would like to be heard in regards to this.
Okay.
Sorry for this way.
Have a seat for me. And go ahead and state your full name and spell your first and last name for me, okay?
Adreian Dority, Adreian Alexander Dority, H-A-Y-V-I-A-N-D-O-R-I-T-Y.
Good morning, Adreian. How you doing?
How are you today?
Mr. Dority, Lawrence Dority, father.
Yes, sir.
Is there something you would like to say on behalf of your father?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Today I would like to speak on behalf of my father. I ask that you are able to was truly right. He has 3 children that do truly need him. Over the years, I have been blessed with the opportunity to have my father with me. And over the years, I have learned many things through him. Whatever he wants to do, he makes it happen, no matter what it is. And I have learned that he is a loving person. He has never, ever, throughout the years that I've known him, been a violent person. He's caring. My father has taught me many things and many things. Every time I've had an idea, he spoke to me. He has told me ways that I can improve myself and just do new things, whether it's cooking, art, music, sports. I consider my father as my mentor, my coach, and my best friend. I do not know who I am without my father, and never once a day have I ever gone without my father. Whether he had to go to work, he would take me. In these past few weeks at home, I feel that it has not been the same at all. Something is missing. But as we coming home from school, he was there to say, how are you, son? How was your day? What did you learn today? Dear Judge, I hope you find it in your heart to give him the minimum that there is. Thank you.
You can step down.
Next and the last witness, Your Honor, is Mr. Carl Davis.
Okay.
This only sort of friend testimony shall give, shall be the truth, and help you talking to the truth, shall be judged.
state your full name and spell your first and last name.
Carl Davis. Carldavis.
May I inquire, Your Honor?
You may.
Mr. Davis, what is your relationship to Mr. Lawrence Dority?
Well, I'm Lawrence's godfather. Okay. Me and his father, we grew up in Claremont, Florida together. We young boys playing on clay dirt roads and didn't have any passageway to go, didn't know what to do. So we joined the military. We all retired military, and Lawrence, I was there in the hospital when he was a little baby, and he's been raised by leaders. He's been raised by leaders, but I don't know what happened. And to the family that this happened to, well, both sides of the family, I'm so gracefully sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And I'm asking the courts to have leniency on him. And I'm asking the family to have leniency as well. And there's nothing we could do to change anything. We just have to leave it in the hands of the Lord. I don't know what else to say. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
And may I be heard briefly, Your Honor? I don't know if you prefer me to talk a little bit now or after.
No, that's fine.
Just speaking on behalf of my client, Judge, I understand that you oftentimes have cases and it could be a very difficult decision for you to determine when to be heavy-handed or when to be merciful. But, Your Honor, I will submit to you, this is one of those cases where it's worthy of your consideration to just issue the minimum mandatory, which is 25 years, followed by whatever term of probation that you find to be suitable. Even the pre-sentence report, it appears that the Office of Parole and Probation was amenable to the same, in that the probation officer who drafted the pre-sentence investigative report stated that they're suggesting a sentence that's in alignment with the sentencing guidelines followed by probation. And as I read that, it gave me a logical deduction that this is an expiration date on his sentence, not a life sentence, but something that's in alignment with the sentencing guidelines. Also, as I looked at the score sheet, it appeared that what Lawrence scored out to was less than the minimum mandatory. So, although your hands are bound by the minimum mandatory in this situation, I'm asking the court to consider just the minimum mandatory in this situation, because it's going to be a substantial hardship to the family of my client, and not to be insensitive to the victim's family. That's not my intent, and I apologize if at any moment during the trial or in the scope of my representation of my client, if I gave you the impression that I was insensitive for the facts of this case. Your Honor, even grass grows. You know, my client is 31 years old. He's a father of 3, and not just a father, but an active father. And although the jury has issued a verdict, you know, we respect the verdict. We may not have to necessarily agree with it, but we respect it. And Your Honor, the facts of this case is very difficult. Some people argue that so many other things could have happened. You know, if you're looking back at the facts of the case, and some people playing Monday morning quarterback, looking at the things that could have been done or should have been done. You know, nobody's perfect. You know, under those circumstances, it was just a tragedy. You know, my client was friends with Tara Walker. You know, it appears that they have been best friends for over 14, 15 years at the time of this incident. You know, both families are suffering and will continue to suffer. I do believe my client would like to say something as well. I don't want to step on his toes, but I just felt like it was a moment that I needed to ask the court to have some mercy and grace. You know, you can't undo what happened. This is not one of those situations where my client just came to a person and pulled a firearm out and created a scenario, one could argue that he was wrong, but at that moment he felt like he was justified under the circumstance. Why? He felt fair. He was afraid, Can't undo what happened, Your Honor, but we can ask that if you would give him an opportunity to redeem himself. He's somebody that is amenable to being redeemed, and he could redeem himself and show the community. He could be a true story to convey to people in the community about how to be a better judgment of your decisions, to make better decisions, to try to walk in a different path, to try to avoid conflict resolution. Sometimes, unfortunately, the best teacher is experience. Mr. Dority, prior to this situation, Your Honor, he was very, very optimistic in his future. He had 3 different certifications. Essentially, he was a barber. He also had a certification to do tattoos. He has a certification to prepare food as a chef. He was literally an entrepreneur in 3 different areas. He's not the type of person that would rely on handouts or ask people for help. He'll try to do it himself. He's a very compassionate person. A lot of people in the community, a lot of people know him. Everybody's just as shocked about the circumstances of what happened. Not just the verdict, just the situation, to hear that he was even involved in a situation. Because that's not his character. He was not known for violence. He wasn't known to go around and create hostility. Mr. Dority has been a father for a long time. He's just 31 years old, but he has a 14-year-old son. He has an 8-year-old daughter and a 2-year-old daughter. The community stands to gain any time a family can remain intact, understanding that your sentence will require some separation, but Your Honor, 25 years minimum mandatory that you're obligated on the law to issue, I believe is sufficient enough. It does not, to pretty much be a just punishment in this case, without giving more than is necessary or required. It's enough to provide retribution to the victim's family. And I say this without being insensitive. I understand that it's a life that was taken. It's enough to provide deterrence to the public. When people to hear about a sentence of 25 years, that's a deterrent, Your Honor. It's enough to also allow Mr. Dority to rehabilitate, to learn more about himself, learn more about faith and how to be a better person, conflict resolution, things of that nature. He poses a low risk of recidivism, Your Honor. He didn't have a lengthy criminal history. And after you hear from my client today, you will hear his remorse. You can obviously see the extreme family and community support that he has. And we're not downplaying the significance of this type of offense. And at this moment, Your Honor, I would step aside and allow my client to be heard briefly. Okay. Thank you.
You don't swear. All right, Mr. Dority, this is your opportunity to tell me what you want me to know for purposes of sentencing. So if you'd like to make a statement, you're willing to do so, you can at this time, okay?
Thank you. My name is Lawrence Alexander Dority. I am 31 years old. I have 3 loving, beautiful children. And I first would like to say my heart goes out to the family. And I cannot imagine what you have gone through. I've never in my mind thought I would be here today seeking mercy upon the court for my life. I've never been a violent person or sought after trouble. I've always considered myself a good citizen and a man of God. I have always been a proud Florida citizen my entire life. Since my son was born, I've always instilled in him be a man with integrity and be a man with honor. I was raised in a tight-knit family, a military family with strong values of protecting each other and standing for what we believe in. And Your Honor, that night I did not go out looking for trouble, but trouble found me. I found myself scared, not for just my life, but the life of 3 generations of the Dority family, my son, myself, and my father. I deeply remorse what happened that night in the bottom of my heart. The media portrayed me as a violent person, but that is not the truth. Tara, you were me and Tatiana's best friend. And I still love you. I still pray for you. Nobody deserves to be in this situation. So here I am on August 29, 2025, 2 days before my son turns 14, begging for your mercy, Judge. Please take into consideration my background and the facts. I did not wake up that morning with intent to harm anybody. Even that night, I had no intent to harm anybody. I had no intentions on killing anybody or let alone shooting another father. Judge Steinem, please imagine how scared any person could be in a situation like that. And I do have plans for my future, and I will continue to be a positive figure for my community. Judge Steinem, please understand by giving me a long sentence does nothing but negatively impact more lives. It is a generational curse that will be bestowed upon my family, and I promise you that I will be as perfect could be. I promise you that I will continue to be a positive mentor for my community. I promise you that you will never hear anything negative of my name again. I promise you that I will strive to be a law-abiding citizen. Please consider my words, and I promise you I will make everybody proud. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Thompson, anything further?
Just briefly, in addition to the term of incarceration, Your Honor, I also think it's important to note that just being adjudicated for a felony also carries along the collateral consequences that are ongoing and continuous, such as being unable to qualify for certain housing opportunities or government aid, not being able to vote or sit on a jury, not even been able to qualify for life insurance. In certain instances, I've actually been aware that that's something that companies are not willing to assure people with criminal history, and that believing that there's so much of a higher risk or something of that sort. But of course, job opportunities and things like that of such. So, Your Honor, it will be an ongoing sentence, no matter how we look at it, you know. So we're just asking you to consider that, have some mercy, and not to render a heavy-handed sentence under the circumstances of this case. My client did not have intentions to kill. It was a tragic accident that occurred, and he's accepting responsibility and remorseful of the situation. It's essentially an offense that occurred in an unsophisticated manner, an isolated incident upon which he's shown some remorse. You know, some could even argue that the victim may have been involved, not to provoke it, but at least was a participant in the situation that led to it. However, the court would perceive it and how the jury saw it, we're here now. And Your Honor, the minimum mandatory is enough to provide respect for the law. We're asking that you consider that. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Smith?
Your Honor, at this time, the state would call Antoine Payne.
Please tell me story of firm testimony shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
All right, have a seat for me, sir. Go ahead and state your full name and spell your first and last name for me.
My name is Antoine Payne. It's ANTIWANPAYNE.
All right. Sir. Speak.
All right. Your Honor, my name is Antoine Payne. I'm the brother of Adreian Payne. My brother was only 31 years old when his life was taken in this senseless act of violence by this murderous person. I stand here today not only as his brother, but as a voice for the entire family, especially for his sons who are now forced to grow up without their father. Adreian wasn't just my brother. He was my inspiration. He was my friend. He was a man that I looked up to. But more than anything, he was a father. He loved his sons with his whole heart, and they were his world. He wanted nothing more than to raise them into strong, respectful young men and successful young men. He was present in their lives, teaching them, guiding them, showing them what love and discipline and dedication really looked like. We all watched how hard my brother not only worked on the court, but off of it. We witnessed his determination, his grind, and his sacrifices he made to become the man and the father he was. Adreian inspired so many, but for us, his family, we felt the love, we saw the pain, he pushed through, and we knew the effort it took. He was building a future for his sons and his family, and everything he did was for them. Now they have to grow up without him. He won't be here to teach them how to throw a ball and how to navigate life or how to be men. He'll miss their birthdays, their graduations, their biggest moments, and most of all, the heartbreakingest thing of all, he never got the chance to meet his youngest son, who was born after his death. The kind of loss can't be measured. Adrian's legacy will live on through his sons and through the people he inspired and through the love he gave so freely. The holes in his absence has left. His sons will still ask why. Why isn't my father here? Why was he taken from them? And there are no good answers. Your Honor, I ask that you take from this man what he has taken from our family. Though it will never bring my brother back, he should never be free to take another father or son or brother or another nephew from their loved ones. I ask that you give him the maximum sentence and he'd never be free to do this heinous things again. He made that choice and it caused irreversible harm, so he must be held fully accountable for it. Thank you for allowing me to speak on my brother's behalf and his sons and the family, Your Honor.
The state calls Tara Walker.
You told me story of friend testimony shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
All right, have a seat. State your full name and spell your first and last name for me.
It's Tara Walker, Tarawalker.
All right, let me proceed.
Sorry, I'm nervous. I want to show you who you took. I want to show you who's growing up without a father. That's Armani. He's 3 now. He doesn't know his dad because of you. I'm here today as the girlfriend and, more importantly, the mother of Adreian Payne's child. On the night of May 9th, not only did you, Lawrence Dority, take Adreian from us, you took away any future we were supposed to have. You stole the man who was supposed to guide our son through life, the man who was supposed to be there for his first steps, his birthday, his first day of school, his graduations, and every special moment in between. Our son will never know what it feels like to run into his daddy's arms after a big game or to hear his voice cheering from him from the stands. That was stolen from him, and it can never be replaced. Because of you, Lawrence, my son has to grow up without his father. He will never know what it's like to have a father-son conversation as you and Havian have. He will never be able to talk to his father and ask for advice. He will never experience unconditional love as you have for your 3 children. All of that has been ripped away because of your senseless actions. My son is only 3 years old. He's far too young to understand what happened and why Daddy is never coming home. He asks me all the time, can we go visit his dad in heaven? What do you say to that? How do you explain that someone took your dad from the child? How do I tell him? My son will grow up without any real memories of Adreian. He only has pictures and the stories of his legacy online. I hope that you relive May 9th for the rest of your life. I relive it every night. Every time I close my eyes and every time I look at my son, I see what you took from us. On that night at 1:30 in the morning, you decided to become the judge, the jury, and the executioner. It's not fair that you get to live, even if it's behind those brick walls. Adreian is gone, Lawrence. He's buried 6 feet under. He was 31 years old, the same age you are today. For that, may God forgive you, because I cannot. No sentence will bring him back, we know that. But what you decide today, Your Honor, that matters. This senseless act of violence, it deserves the harshest punishment that the law will allow. Anything less would be dishonorable to Adrian's life. You took a child's father for no real reason. I ask you with everything in me to hold this person accountable to the fullest extent of the law. His child deserves that much. Adrian's memory deserves that much. Justice deserves that much. And Lawrence, may you never forget this. You didn't just take a life. You broke a family. You destroyed a child. You took so much more than you'll ever know. In the words of Adreian, basketball will forever be my heart, but my kids are my beat. And for that, Adreian will live forever through them. Thank you.
Mr. Smith, anything further?
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, by returning a verdict of guilty for second-degree murder with a firearm in this case, the jury rejected that this was a case of stand your ground or self-defense. They also rejected that this was a manslaughter and found instead that the defendant acted with a depraved mind under the law. Now, the family, as you've heard today, would like to see a life sentence, and that's justified. This defendant took someone away that can never be brought back. A father to children, obviously a son, a boyfriend, a friend, a brother. And what sticks out to me in this case is in the video that you hear that the jury heard in this case, he had an opportunity not to do this. He was warned by Tara Walker, who just spoke to the court, don't do this, don't take your gun out. This wasn't a spontaneous thing that happened. This took time. He went and retrieved the gun, and then even in that moment before, if he'd have made a different decision to not pull the trigger, nobody would be here today. But he did make that decision. So I understand the statements by Mr. Dority and by his family, but ultimately what he's taken away and what he chose to take away cannot be given back. And so the state believes that life in prison is appropriate. Thank you.
All right, both parties have reviewed the PSI.
Yes, Your Honor.
Any additions or corrections or objections to it?
No, Your Honor.
None from the state.
There was an amended one filed. If it was a correction in regards to the minimum mandatory, I believe, that may have been a correction.
Right, that was the one that was filed on the 28th.
And Judge, if I can approach with the score sheet.
Have you seen the score sheet?
Yes, Your Honor.
And it's been reviewed by your client?
You haven't seen it? No.
Let him take a look at it. What's the time, sir? 83? All right, Mr. Dority, you've had an opportunity to review the score sheet with your attorney.
Yes, sir.
All the information on the score sheet is accurate?
Yes, sir.
Any restitution?
No, Your Honor.
Any cost of investigation?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Dority, you were, or Mr. Thompson, you were privately retained?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Court did sit through the entire trial in this case, is aware of what the facts were that came out during the course of the trial. I've considered the pre-sentence investigation, the score sheet in this matter. I've considered the sentencing memorandum that's been filed by the defense, and I've considered the presentation of the witnesses and the arguments of the attorneys here today. Given all of that, I'm going to impose the following sentence. I'm going to adjudicate you guilty of the offense, sentence you to life in the Florida Department of Corrections with a life minimum mandatory for possession, discharge, and death of the alleged victim in this case with a firearm. You have 83 days credit time served towards that sentence. I'll impose court costs, cost of prosecution fee. Those costs will be reduced to a final judgment. Any other questions or concerns? All right, sir, you have the right to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court. If you wish to do so, it has to be done in writing within the next 30 days. If you cannot afford to hire an attorney for the purpose of an appeal, one could be appointed for you. We'll be in recess.
He clearly yelled something there. He yelled something back. Looked like he was saying F. All right, so you got life. Life is life. Take a life. You gotta spend your rest of your life in jail. I guess that's about it. But why was he? It looked like he was shouting. He was like saying F to somebody. He was saying F this. I don't know. So he wasn't so polite just then, was he? No, he was not. He was not polite just then. He was not everything that his family just said he was. All right. So real quick, Brenda, you were asking what happened. Basically, so Lawrence is out. It was Father's Day. I forget this now. It was either Father's Day. No, it was Mother's Day, and he was out with his dad and one of his, I guess his son, who just turned 14, I think. And he had been drinking, so he had his dad drive him back home. And when he gets there, when he gets there, apparently his partner, the mother of his children, called her friend, who is Tara. Tara's known, and Tara testified, Tara knows Lawrence for like 15 years. So Tatiana calls Tara and says something, there's maybe some, DV going on here. So Tara heads on over, and in the meantime, she calls Adreian and says, hey, I'm heading over. This is what's happening. So Adreian gets there, and they kind of confront each other, but it's not like this big pushing match. They're just kind of like looking at each other. And apparently Lawrence says Adreian got out of the car and says, I'm going to smoke you. And Adrian's like 6'10" or something. He's got a wingspan of 7 foot. He's a big guy, right? He played basketball. He's a big dude. So Adreian was afraid he was afraid. His son was out there. His dad is outside. So what does he do? He runs back into his house and comes back out again and shoots Adreian because he thought Adreian was he was reaching into his waistband or something like that. So that's all well and good, but dude, why did you have to go back outside? If you're so afraid for your life, grab your kid, grab your dad, go get inside. And they weren't even on his property. It's not like he could say stand your ground or well, he would say castle doctrine, right? That's taking care of your castle. Adreian wasn't on his property. He wasn't even near his property. He was like, wasn't like miles away, but he was like a couple doors down. So Lawrence goes back to his house and then comes back out. You just can't. You can't do that. It's not like Adreian came on. If Adreian had set foot on his property, maybe there would have been a defense there, but there was just no. You just can't do that. So anyway, he found out that you can't do that. I do feel sorry for those kids. He was a chef, tattoo. He's certified in barber and tattoo and a chef. I feel sorry for those kids. A 14-year-old, that kid now is going to, unfortunately, and the 8 and the 2-year-old. But then there's also Adrian's kids. He's got a little kid that was born that doesn't even know him. So it's terrible. It's just one of those situations. No, I don't think Lawrence is like this villain as much as like a Kohlberger or somebody like that, or Stefan Stearns. Those guys are like absolute just villains. Lawrence, just a hothead. He was drinking. Who knows what else he was doing? He's just a hothead, and this is what happens. You just can't do these kind of things. So. Liberty, Blue Liberty Linus, yeah, the kids, I do feel sorry for him. I'm sorry for the kids for sure. For Lawrence, no, I don't feel sorry. It's just one bad mistake, just one bad mistake. And that mistake is he was a hothead. You can't do that. You shouldn't own a gun. I don't know. There's so many things you could say here, but it is what it is. And Adreian Payne was a really, really nice guy, and he's no longer with us. So that's the worst. The booze didn't help. No, not at all. Well, he was too drunk to drive. That's why his dad drove him home. He'd been drinking too much, and it's fine. Whatever. It's Mother's Day. They're out, May. They're out partying. I get it. And too much to drink. Just not a good combination. Brenda, yes, I hope that answered your question. Yeah, it was just too much to type. Sometimes when people ask, what's the story about, it's just too much to type. So we just direct you to the description, or I'll just tell you at the end of at a break or whatever. So all right, Chris, kids always get the shaft due to adults' poor decisions. Sad world we live in. Yep, I agree with that. Sinbad, the families are forever changed. We live forever in a new normal. That is true. Widespread, I feel sorry for both sets of kids. Absolutely. One rash act and neither of them have a father anymore. That is true. Well, at least Lawrence is still alive. They can always go visit him in the prison. Adreian, all they have, like they said, Tara said, all they have are his memories. Video clips. News that I showed you, the video. I know, like ESPN did a really nice thing, and there were some other things. Good Morning America did a nice tribute on him as well, but I'm not going to play them because we'll get in trouble. So we've done that before, and we got smacked. So not going to do that. But anyway, if you guys want to do that research on your own, definitely just put in Adreian Payne, and he was a good dude. Good guy, man. All right, let's see. Sinbad, he went back in to get the people hole puncher. Yeah, that's premeditation. Bad decisions. Yep, they're bad results. That is true. Katie Cat, it's not a problem to be drunk. It's a problem when you make the terrible decisions while drunk. That is true as well. That is true. Sure Life says justice prevails. Blue Liberty Lioness, it's been wonderful spending time with y'all today. Seems to hobby fast, minus that stupid video that felt like 84 years. Yeah, that yeah, I agree. Let's see. Sure Life, he can cut hair in prison now. At least now he can still visit with his kids. Yep, Adrian cannot. Yep. Go by, not hobby. I was wondering what you meant by that. All right, so go by. Seems to go by fast, minus that stupid video that felt like 84 years. Yeah, I gotcha. What would he have done if he was sober? Yeah, then there's that. What if he hadn't been drinking? I mean, he was afraid for his life. I get it. Again, Adrian was a big guy. He was tall, wingspan of 7 feet, 6'10", 6'8", 9, 10. He's a big guy. Did he say, "I'm going to smoke you"? I don't know. I mean, we don't know if he said that. Did he say that? I would have just been like, "Hey, man, I'm gone. I'm out of here. I'm gone." I would have just turned around and left. Called 911 if you're so concerned. And his friend was there. Tara was there. Tara, he had known Tara for 15 years. I'd be like, "Hey, Tara, what's up with this guy?" I don't know. I just think he obviously handled that completely wrong, just completely wrong. So, but what would he have done if he was sober? Yeah, he may not have made that decision. He may have been like, just get out of here. Don't forget, he was called, Tatiana called Tara because there might have been some DV going on. So that's why they were called in the first place. It's not like they just decided to show up. And Adrian was traveling. I think he was on his, I don't know what he was doing, but it's his girlfriend and mother of his children. She's like, "Hey, I'm going over to this guy's house." He shows up. I think he was already out or something, and he shows up. So, why were they called there in the first place? I don't think they ever really talked about that. Why were they called there in the first place? They didn't just show up just to show up and hang out and drink. They showed up because I think maybe Tatiana was saying, "Hey, Lawrence is hitting me. He's throwing things around." That was what was implied. I don't know if that's, that never came out in testimony, so I can't really verify that. But why were they called there in the first place? Adrian just didn't show up. So anyway, all right, you guys, that's going to be it for us. 4:30 on a Tuesday after Labor Day weekend. Hope you guys had a fantastic weekend. Enjoyed hanging out with you guys today. As always, these cases are sad. These victim impact statements, those are tough. But Grampy, I will leave you Super Ball. She's blowing out the camera there because she's sleeping in the sun. But there's a little Super Ball hanging out. That's for you, Grampy, and we got little Houdini there, little Rafa's back there. Oh, got some more back here. Got little Roger Federer there, and I think that's Riker over there. So, all right, you guys, have a wonderful evening. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you to Aaron. Thank you to our mods. Thank you, chat, for joining us. Have a good evening. I know this is emotional and it's tough. It's really tough. Just make sure you go out and you do something, good for yourself. And make sure, you take care of yourselves, because that's really, we have to do that. So we want you all to come back tomorrow. We want you to join us tomorrow. We will continue with our coverage of Donna Adelson tomorrow at 8:30. That's Eastern. So again, thank you all for joining, and we will see you then. Thank you to Aaron, and thank you to our mods. And have a good night, guys. We'll see you. Bye.